Hi everyone, welcome again to my virtual campfire. Thanks for joining me here on Wingman Nation. Over the past 2 to 3 months, I have received numerous emails about the frame issues that Grand Design, primarily Grand Design owners are experiencing, wanting to get my take on it. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. I'm also going to play a conversation I had with somebody that purchased an RV recently. And I'm going to start it off, I guess, by talking about this shirt. A lot of y'all don't like some of the shirts that I wear. I particularly like this one. It reminds me, my wife has a broom and she flies all over the place on her broom. And so I wear this to salute my wife because she flies, and I mean, you never know. If you look up in the sky and see a broom, that's probably my wife who is driving it. So anyway, I hope I don't lose you as a subscriber, but if I do, I'm perfectly okay with that. You know, I like these shirts, by the way. If you'd like to purchase these shirts like I do, a link to the people I buy them from is down below, along with a link to get a 10% discount with a keyword that you use there when you check out on their website. It's called High Seas Trading Company. Again, a link to them is down below. Let's start out with a phone call before I get into the Winnebago, LCI, broken frames, and all the endless comments that there seem to be going on still about the broken frame issue. These are some people who just purchased an RV. You may wonder, what does a semi-retired guy do? Well, I'm not supposed to be semi-retired, but I like to work. I do. I like to create these videos. I like to read. I like to think. I like to call people and get their honest opinion about how their experience was when they purchased their RV. So that's what I'm going to do right now. This is a real quick one, but this is a lady who just purchased an RV from one of my Wingman approved dealers.
Hello.
Is this Dusty?
It is?
Dusty, my name's Alan Warren. I work with Berryland Campers, and I was trying to get a hold of you guys, calling on behalf of them to follow up about your purchase experience.
I can talk on the phone. We just pulled in with it.
Have you got like 2 minutes? I'd just like to find out how things went. And
What sent me there was the brand, the Forester brand.
had you heard of Berryland before? Or what?
Oh, yes, sir. We only live 45 minutes away, and we have been campers for years now. First time buying through Berryland.
How would you describe the experience? I mean, I don't know if you bought from anybody else before, but
I have bought from another camper place before, and the experience is way better than the other camper experience.
in what way?
Customer service, but they kept me informed. They called me, if not every day, every other day. Never had a bad taste in my mouth with anybody. Everybody was so polite.
So there was no sales pressure or trying to upsell you to other things or any of that kind of stuff?
No, absolutely not.
What about your salesperson? Don't have my notes in front of me. I'm actually driving down the road. But what about your salesperson? Were they professional and knowledgeable? And
Oh, yes. So first off, we had, his name was Bryce.
Mhm.
Then we went back and we had somebody named Steven. So we got to work with both Bryce and Steven on the purchase, and they were wonderful.
Is there anything you wish that they would have done differently? And how would you rate them?
I'd rate them on a 9-10 scale, 9-10.
Mhm.
The problems that we did have was not Berryland's fault. It was Ford's fault. So no, there's nothing that I could say I would change with the service that I had.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you.
So that was obviously a happy camper. And Berryland Campers, I talk about them quite often here on the channel. They are a member of the RV Dealers I Trust network. There's a lot of RV dealers out there. There's not very many great RV dealers. And there are no perfect RV dealers. But if you're thinking about buying an RV, I often say that now is a really good time. If you're prepared, if you understand what the RV buying experience, the ownership experience entails, now's a terrific time to buy an RV. If you'd like to purchase an RV, I suggest that you contact the dealers in the RV Dealers I Trust network. A link to them is down below. At least give them an opportunity to earn your business. Okay, again, a link is down below in the description. All right, so let's talk about the broken frame issues. And you're probably not going to like what I'm going to say, but oftentimes I think that we are encouraged to pick a side. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? And we join in this mob mentality. And I've been trying to watch this thing as the issues have unfolded. And I've seen lots and lots of, as you probably have, YouTube videos about people that have got broken frames. They're concerned about it, and it is a real valid concern. But I've got some questions for you. And this is what goes on in my head. Do you think that there is somebody that is to blame? And by the way, I don't know all the answers. I'm going to give you my opinion and some things that are rolling around in my head, but I want to know what you think. So if you have more information than me, and you may have, if you can provide some clarity. I like clarity and simplicity in everything that I do, and it's awful hard sometimes, especially when you have these layers of people, whether they're politicians or I don't know, manufacturers who don't want to be forthright about the truth. Do you think that the people at Winnebago are at fault? Do you think the people that they purchased are Grand Design, Winnebago? Do you think that the people at LCI, the people that made the frames for those fifth wheels, primarily fifth wheels that we're hearing about the broken frame issues, who do you think is at fault? Well, let's back up a second before you cast judgment, if you will. If I were the person at Winnebago, I want to believe that I am a person of integrity, that I care more about than the stock price, that I have a concern for the consumer, that I care about my employees, I care about my dealers, I care about the RV industry as a whole. I want to believe that I would think that way. I would know that I'm not perfect. And if something went wrong, at least the way the Wingman was raised, the first thing you do is raise your hand and you own it. You accept it. Don't accept more than you are responsible for, but accept the responsibility. I don't see anybody doing that. I see them blaming others, delaying, postponing, answering with a press release, ignoring. Same thing with LCI. Let's just say LCI made those frames and they knew that there was a problem. Wouldn't you think that the head person at LCI would say, we did it? We are sorry. It's a monumental disaster for us, but we're going to make it right. I would want to think that. I want to think the best in human beings. I do. But I think too many people, especially corporate people, and you know what? We do it too. Admit nothing, deny all, demand proof. Think about it. Admit nothing. What are you talking about? We didn't do it from, a kid stealing the cookie out of the cookie jar. Well, I'm not going to admit that. Admit nothing. Deny all. Demand proof. And then accuse the other side. Some of the things I've wondered is, do you think that they meaning LCI and or Winnebago, Grand Design, could go back and, you think they've done this? When did we buy those frames? Who engineered those frames that they built? Who was that? Let's track this thing down. What was the date of the shipment that we received those frames, the very first set of frames from LCI, if we were Grand Design? What's the first shipment that we received? And match it up with the RVs that we know. There's been a bunch of them that have got broken frames. And start looking and comparing. And then wouldn't you want to look and say, how many other frames have we put out there that were made in that same batch of bad frames? Whether it's Grand Design or LCI, wouldn't there be some kind of an email chain? I'll bet there is. If an engineer, because the corporations, they want to make as much money as they can and get by with a product for you, for me, that's just good enough. Nice and pretty. And they're going to give you a sales pitch on it, but it's just good enough. Good enough for them, not good enough for you and me. I used to do TV fishing shows, and an analogy, if you will. I had worked my way up. I'm not going to name the companies and all that kind of stuff, but I had worked my way up to receiving a big sponsorship from a major manufacturer, a player in the fishing lure manufacturer side of the business. And I was part of their pro team, and they would send me boxes, literally cases and cases of all these fishing lures. It was awesome. I got to go out and try them and fish them before anybody else did. And I'd give them my feedback, and they sent this one lure, and it was just gorgeous. I mean, it's like the hologram design looks so real, and the hooks were super sharp. I couldn't wait to go out and use it. Went, and the fish were biting. Now, they weren't big ones, but I mean, there were lots of them, 3-pounders. That's a pretty good size fish. But they got a whole lot bigger than that. We didn't catch any. But you know what happened? That lure caught the devil out of fish. I mean, a devil out of them. But there was an issue. After I'd catch 2 or 3 of those 3-pound fish, the hooks would begin to fall off. Well, no, I got a bunch of those lures. Remember, I'm a big shot. I'm on the pro team, so I just throw it down, get another one, tie it on. I catch 2 or 3 more, and the hook would pull out. What? And they all started doing it. I mean, not all of them, but more than half of the lures that I was using, the hooks would start coming out. And did you know that on a fishing lure, the hook is attached to the body? Gosh, I should have one. With a split ring, called a split ring. It's a little metal ring, kind of like if you have a keychain on your key ring on your car. I don't have one with me. But a split ring, and that's how the hook is attached to the body of the fishing lure. And those split rings were just, and I don't know, 3 cents, 5 cents for a part. And that was taking this beautiful lure, and you couldn't use it anymore because the split rings were coming out. And it was an expensive lure, state of the art. And so now fast forward, it's a sales meeting, and all these other people that are like me are in there. It's like, man, that's a great lure. Those, oh yeah, we caught a lot of fish on them. And that's how we promoted their products. And I got off to the side because I'm not very smart. I went to the people that I reported to, and I said, you know, they're really good. I mean, you catch fish, and I'm not trying to be ugly, but those split rings keep pulling out. They do? You didn't know that? Huh? And they never answered whether they knew it or not. But I knew it. It was half of the fishing lures. The split rings came out. And you know what they said to me? They said, Alan, do you know how we buy those split rings? I do not. Do you know how many we buy at a time? I don't know that either. Do you know how they're shipped? No, sir, I don't. He said, well, we buy them in 55-gallon barrels, these big giant drums, and they come from overseas. And when we get through using those split rings, I don't know, 100,000? How many are in there? A barrel. And they get lots of barrels. When we get through using up the split rings we have, we'll look at making them a little bit differently. And I thought, that's corporate America. Are you kidding me? They raised the price of their fishing lures. They used me as a shill to go out there. And so what I did was on my show, the split ring came out. I didn't completely lie, but I did kind of work for the man, the corporation. In a similar way, I think that's the way the frame issue is. Admit nothing, deny all, demand proof. And the RV industry wonders, why? Why are people so negative? Why are we being blasted? It's because of a lack of transparency. If you work for LCI, any manufacturer, any RV manufacturer, my suggestion is be truthful. The public can smell your BS. They can smell a lie, and they hate your guts for it. That's why we are disgusted with politicians. Don't you get it? Or is it truly only about the bottom line? Part of me believes it's only about the bottom line. There is so much investigation that probably has gone on, I think. I want to believe. Within both the companies going, oh my God, but we told you that the engineering, we questioned about some of the things you wanted to do. My question for you, the viewer, is do you think we'll ever find out? Will we ever hear the truth, the real truth from both sides? Will anyone say, it was me? Or are they going to continue to admit nothing, deny all, and demand proof? There are actually law firms, lawfare as it's called. Those companies, corporations have lots and lots of money. And they got lawyers that, they're looking for stuff to do. And squashing a little bug like an RVer out there that's on YouTube trying to bring up some kind of I think, a significant, meaningful topic to discuss. Stop it! I think that's wrong. But it's not about what's right or wrong. So who's to blame? I don't know. The 5 Ds. It's admit nothing, deny all, demand proof. And most human beings go by the 5 Ds. Deny, defer, deflect, demand, destroy. And destroy is what people go to. It's almost like, no, let's just destroy them. We're going to destroy these people. Well, let me tell you something. The RV community is a Not a perfect community, but it's big. It's vocal. And it's sick and tired of manufacturers and dealers and companies that lie to them. And I don't think it's going to get any better. That's why I promise you, the RV dealers that I trust, the ones that I trust, when they have a bad problem with a manufacturer, they call them. They do and go, hey, man, we got a problem here. And some of my dealers have said, don't want to carry your line anymore. That's true. I don't think that every dealer is like that. I just don't. So who is at fault? I made some notes here, some questions that I would ask if I had the opportunity. And I would want to see the trail of communication between Winnebago employees or Grand Design and LCI. Those emails, that correspondence about any concerns at all with these frames. How's the public going to react? How are you going to react to this? You think I'm off my rocker? Many of you do, and sometimes I am. I admit it. But I think people are pissed. Rightfully so. I don't know what to tell you if you have a Grand Design that was built during the pandemic, built during the time period when they claim all these issues arose. What's going to happen in the future? You folks who have bought a Grand Design. And do you think every Grand Design owner knows about this? I don't. Not by a long shot. They just think everything's fine, driving on down the road. Do you think somebody's going to have a catastrophic fail and maybe have an accident and die because of these broken frames? I don't know what the solution is. But the solution, my guess is they're going to do nothing. Just like politicians, just like the Hunter Biden laptop, just like we're going to get to the bottom of it. No, you're not. No, you're not. You want us to think you're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to go get them and we've got the proof. And wait, what proof? Well, we didn't say that. And it's this friggin' game that makes me sick. And that's why we don't trust. That's why I don't trust. Mob rule is bad. And I don't want to create a mob against the RV industry. I'd like to encourage you to encourage the people at all these manufacturers to have some integrity, to respect those that will stand up and go, you know what, we screwed up. We screwed up. Don't crucify them. The people that are hiding the stuff are the ones that I think are the worst of all. Lying and blaming everybody else, admit nothing, deny all, demand proof, and let's go and destroy the people that will even bring up the conversation. We're lied to about the border, about the economy, about this thing. We're lied to, given a spin, a story. They'll look through it only through this set of eyes, and if you bring anything else up, you're the enemy. Makes me sick. Makes me wonder, what else do we not know? Do you think this is the only problem? The only one that's going on in the RV industry? Nope, that's it. Or is it the only one we know about? I wish I could be more positive in here. I really do. I think that everybody involved is going to say, hey, man, it wasn't me. It was them over there. It's the blame game. And we're never going to know about it. Lawyers are going to be making lots of money. Manufacturers will come up with other things to do. The RV industry will continue RVIA, which I know the RV manufacturers need something to promote the industry. But while I'm hoping, I would hope somebody at RVIA, some man or woman with integrity, would say, okay, guys, we need to get together. LCI, Grand Design, Winnebago, whoever the players are, we need to get y'all in a room. Forget the Zoom. Let's get together. How are we going to attack this? Because we want to sell RVs for 50 years from now. When we're all dead, we want people to still want to buy RVs. And that starts with trust. And we have to be honest. We don't have to be perfect, but we do need to be honest and transparent. Simplicity and clarity. That's what this channel is about. That's what I try to talk about. I try to give you things to think about. You don't have to agree with me. Most people don't. I'm glad you don't on everything. But if you think there is something that there's nothing else to talk about, hey, everything's fine, let me know that. But what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me that when companies, they try to cover up, they seem to care only about the bottom line? Nothing to see here. Move along. along. Oh, look at our new models over here. We're starting to sell motorhomes. Good luck with that. Because us old farts, these people that have been around the track a few times, have learned our BS sniffer is pretty good. We're not super smart, but we can smell BS. And I think we're getting BS at every level. From the politicians, and what's going on in the war in Ukraine. What the hell? Sorry, folks. I do apologize. Again, if you'd like to contact people that I trust, an RV dealer I trust, a link to them is in the comments down below, as well as my contact information. I do look forward to reading your comments. My voicemail phone number is also in the description down below. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. So it's 330-WINGMAN, 330-946-4626. I hope to hear from you, and let me know what you think about today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alan Warren. I am the Wingman, encouraging you to be a better wingman or better wing woman to somebody. To stand up as an example, not of perfection, but a very flawed person who's trying to stand up for something that's right. Values and principles and honor and respect. And try to become a better listener. Try to forgive people that admit to screwing up. It's hard to admit that because we want to pound on them. Let's go get up. That ain't right. At least not in my opinion. Again, thank you for watching. As I said, that's all I've got for today. Let me hear from you. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home. Bye-bye, everybody.